And we are live. It's Friday. What's going on, guys? My name is Jordan Anderson, and welcome to tonight's live stream, Keeping It Casual. Today is our Casual Friday episode, and I'm thinking about actually sewing this into the show itself on the reel, though. Let me get my camera reel adjusted. There we go. Yeah. Trying to keep it. I'm thinking about maybe dialing back the lessons and keeping one slot open each week, because I talked about this last week, that there are some lessons that do not warrant a 20-minute lesson, 45-minute lesson, 1-hour lesson, and maybe Friday is that day to kind of just like squeeze in those teeny tiny episodes, those tiny topics that don't fit within the typical Monday, Wednesday. Monday, Wednesdays for the work, for the lessons, for what we got to learn. And then maybe Friday we just keep it like this, where we can say, hey, we got a couple topics here, maybe a couple little news updates, how's it going with the business? And other than that, let's kind of get into it. And if you're watching this right now, and if you're watching this live, and I hope you are, because this video will not be going live unless there are some good clips of this, but at this point, this video, once I end the stream, that's it, goodbye, into the vapor. Unlike these past streams where I've been keeping them public, but this one is going to be gone after this stream. So if you have pricing questions right now, drop them in the comments, drop them in the chat. Let's kind of get into the first agenda, and I have these little like topics right here that I want to go through, but we're still here in the intro part. I wanted to give you guys a little update. So I've been posting a lot of content on TikTok, and I'm getting a lot of pretty good engagement, and I'm talking a lot about pricing. Of course I am. And I'm talking about aiming it at wedding photographers, and this is the kind of feedback I've been looking for, because pricing triggers people so much, and to me, my kind of personality, I love that shit. Like, I'll be honest, when I was little, and I have a little brother, my little brother's 2 years younger than me, and I'm the oldest brother, and my sense of fun was just making my little brother mad, or just annoying or aggravating, and I feel like I should take that, it's just I even do it with my wife sometimes, I'll do play little pranks on her, if I can jab you a little bit or poke you and get you to have a reaction, then it's yes, I win. So that I have applied that now to my social media strategy, which could get me into trouble. But that's what I'm doing on TikTok, just kind of saying something that's a little bit, I'm not being totally sincere, or I don't exactly mean this bold opinion that I'm about to say, but fuck it, let's see what we get, let's see what kind of reaction we get out there, because if you're saying something boring or very thoughtful, then it's not going to get much reaction, but hey, let's spice it up a little bit, and people get triggered. Because they're the two people that react to these types of TikToks that I'm putting out talking about pricing. One of the big ones that I talk about are, should you charge extra for last minute wedding photography clients? And I think I actually posted this on YouTube Shorts. So if you're watching this right now, you can actually look at a YouTube short that I did, but that's the video. And there are the two types of people that react to it. One are wedding photographers who kind of react to it appropriately, yes, of course, Jordan, that makes sense, you should be able to charge. And then the other side are these, I don't know if they are, I don't know if they're current wedding clients or they are former wedding clients or past wedding clients, but they just act like they're defending the client or defending all clients out there from these bad intention wedding photographers who are just trying to rip them off. And there's just some, it's sorry, dude, did you have a bad experience with the wedding photographer? Did you get ripped off, dude? I'm sorry if you did. I'm looking at my camera, why is it so zoomed in? But, so I had to pull some of these comments. So what I talk about a lot with wedding photography, the sales conversation that happens a lot is, and what I tell wedding photographers not to do, is don't put your prices out in the open. Put them up front, put them in a downloadable pack, don't put them on your pricing sheet, don't have an investment page, because there's no chance for a conversation. And clients who are just looking for convenience and don't really care about your work will browse your site. Those are the price shoppers, the tire kickers, who are probably not going to hire you anyway, and they're going to waste your time. So they're looking at those prices, looking for like, are you in my budget? If you're not in my budget, I don't want to talk to you. And I'm always pushing, you need to have a client conversation. And if these clients don't want to have the conversation or don't feel like they have time to have the conversation, then they probably aren't worth your time, or they're not in your budget range. And people on TikTok react a lot to this, because like one comment is like, so dude, you're basically saying like, you're not gonna tell me your prices. I'm not signing on to that. I'm not gonna book with a photographer. I think these people are like a little bit, I don't know. They're like, I'm not going to book a photographer who doesn't tell me their prices. It's like, okay, dude, well, if you're not going to book with a photographer who doesn't tell you your prices, then yes, exactly. You're probably not the right client for us. Or they think like, just because like a photographer doesn't show you their prices, that you're being shady or hiding something, or it just, I don't know what it like. In the client, there are some clients out there that just get really triggered by that, or that they want to see the prices. I think another, because I saw a couple comments too, is like the client doesn't want to feel belittled somehow, or they don't want to have to go through all this conversation and then at the end say, I can't afford you, which in a business sense, in like the business world, yeah, like if a middle manager or like the director of marketing tells you that talks to you, the photographer, and says like, hey, we can't afford your services, like that's not that personal. That doesn't matter. Or like, it's the business doesn't have the money, they don't have the money. But I guess when you're talking with your private clients and these personal clients, and they say, we can't afford that, I guess it just gets kind of personal, or like they're admitting, or they feel like they're admitting like, we're poor and we can't afford that, or we don't have that kind of money. And money is a very emotional thing. Let's not forget this. And I stumble upon this. I forget this every now and then, and we should all remember this, that money and work, and especially with wedding couples, it is their money, and it can get very emotional. There's a lot of emotional baggage. A lot of people do not have healthy relationships with money. They were not raised to have healthy relationships with money. Maybe how their parents handled money. Like I see it in myself, like how I was raised, or how I look at money, or how I think of like, am I being cheap? Am I spending all this money? Or like, it's taken me a while. I understand the attitude of the cheap client. Because I am a cheap client. Like, I'm always looking for the free trial. I'm always looking for, like, can I suck as much free shit out of this trial before I got to pay for it, pay $99 a month, and then, okay, I'll get as much as I can, and then I'll cancel the trial before they charge me. Like, I'm that kind of client. I'm probably pretty bad. But that's taken me some years to, like, get out of that phase. It's taken me a long time to get into more of the thinking that, oh, okay, this is an investment into myself. This is an investment into my business, and this is worth it. And yes, it's expensive because it's good. It's okay, Jordan. Buy it and shut the fuck up and keep going. That's taking me a while. What were some other TikTok comments? It was like, oh yeah, they're like, I'm not agreeing to any services, or I'm not agreeing to working with you without knowing the prices. Like, no one's saying that we're not going to tell you the prices. We are just saying, hey, I'm not going to tell you right now unless we have a full in-depth conversation. Because if I don't know all the aspects and the scope of the project, then I can't give you a price. I don't know, like, well, it's just a wedding. It's like, well, no, every wedding is different. And you have to have, and if you're watching this as a photographer, you have to have that mindset. Every client is different. Every job is different. We fall into this, like, it's like we just get the template out. It's like, no, every project is different. There are no repeat customers. There are no repeat projects. There's no like, oh, this is just like last time. Every project is different. There were some other comments. Yeah, I don't know. People just get triggered. Oh, one major thing, or like this gets confused. And I think a lot of us actually get confused with this. I used to get confused with this. Price versus cost versus value. That is kind of. Let's get into it. The price is the number you pay. The price is what you see on the invoice. That is the price. The cost is what don't use the word, Jordan, don't use the word in the definition. The cost is the amount of resources that need to go into a project, a business, your camera. To use your camera, that is a cost that goes into the business of you being a photographer. That is a cost. And then people, so let's say that number was 3,000, and people go, okay, the cost of doing your business is $3,000, for example. And then there's value, and like we get like, okay, this is a good this is a good value, or this is a good price. Like with that kind of gets synonymous, especially like in the consumer world, like in the like you're buying groceries, like, oh, this is on sale, this is a good deal, this has good value, or this is a good price. Like that becomes synonymous. But in the client world and in the service world, value is the after effects, the results of rendering the service, of shooting photographs. Like what value do I get out of this for a client? What value do you? So that is really hard for a lot of us, a lot of creatives, to try to quantify that. Like, what is the value of my work, or how do I put a monetary value? How do I connect a monetary value to the value of this project? Or how do I connect, is my wedding worth $10,000? Or like, how much is a memory cost? How much is like a cherished emotional memory that you're going to take with you for the rest of your life? Is that priceless? Is that $10,000? Is that $50,000? And then that's the value. And then you say, okay, based on that value, based on the value, I'm going to sell my wedding photography services for a certain price. So if the value is a priceless memory that, let's call it $50,000, I'm going to sell that for $5,000, and that's what makes it a good deal. Because it's like, wow, it's basically 90% off. This is definitely where I would pay $50,000 for something like this, but she's only charging $5,000. That's the price. Cost, people say, like, that's when they start to get into that very old school cost-based pricing, when they say like, okay, well, my computer costs this, my house costs this, my rent costs this, my camera costs this, my memory cards cost this, my lens costs this. I'm going to add up all this cost, and that is going to be a certain number, and then let's add 20% for my profit, and that's what I sell my services at. And that's the difference between cost-based pricing and value-based pricing. And it's very old school. It's very time and materials. It's very, okay, my time is worth this. But it's just so old school. So don't do that. Don't fall into that cost-based accounting. Think more of the value. What is the value of your work? And then attach a price number to that. Don't think of like, how much does this cost for me to do my business? And then attach a price to that. Don't do that. Okay, let's get into the news today. A little bit of news. It's kind of developing news last couple weeks, this week especially. And so I have been running Facebook ads over the last couple weeks for the Perfect Wedding Package, which you should go check out, theperfectweddingpackage.com. And Facebook. So these two major players in the, like, this is what, if Facebook and Google are like 80%, 90% of the digital ad space. I mean, 99, who knows? Like, might as well be. But Facebook and Apple has now updated their iPhones so that they are going to do less tracking, or there's going to be just basically, in like the non-techiest way I could say it, like they're adding more privacy, or they're adding more barriers for Facebook to track you from site to site. And that's the like incredible data that Facebook can give you. Like, I can say, like, okay, this person went from Instagram, they were on my page, they looked at my Instagram page. Okay, now Facebook is going to then run retargeting ads Okay, hey, you visited Jordan's website. Oh, you might like the Perfect Wedding Package. Oh, you went to the perfectweddingpackage.com, and then you went over to B&H Photo, and then you went back to Facebook. Okay, you're probably, based on all the data and where you have traveled, you are a photographer, and you might like the Perfect Wedding Package. This is what, and so that's the beauty of it, and that's how digital ads work up to this point. They track you. They look at your cookies. They create a profile for you. That's how we as advertisers find you. That's how we I can say, like, I want to find these types of people. I want to serve this type of ad in front of them, and I want them to go to this specific website. Facebook has been, not to say Facebook has been compromised, but the update iOS, you're going to probably hear this, iOS 14 on Apple has now, again, prevented that tracking. So now Facebook is requiring that if you're going to advertise, they're just making it that much more complicated, all of us, that you have to have a verified domain attached to your advertising account on Facebook. So for me, I own theperfectweddingpackage.com, I own jordanpanderson.com. I can send traffic to those websites. You cannot send traffic. I cannot send traffic based on their policy to sites like Thinkific or Teachable or samcart.com or some offshoot webflow.com unless I have access to the code, unless I have access to the backend where I can insert some kind of HTML code into the header. If I can't access that, then I don't own that site, and therefore Facebook is going to say, hey, you are not allowed to send your ads you're not allowed to redirect your ads to this website because you don't own it, which is kind of like a safety thing, or like they're calling like brand safety. But what it really is that's just like they're just making sure that they aren't looking like this kind of like big data monster that they really are, and just like following us and tracking us all over the internet. Google, at the same time, has decided to do a similar thing. They're going to stop tracking their, I think it's third-party cookies. They're going to stop tracking, if based off your browser history, essentially. They're going to stop sending or serving ads based off your browser history, which in a way makes, based on these kind of two major updates, that it makes Facebook and Google ads on the surface, and if you're thinking, and like this is your excuse now, if you were ever thinking about getting into Facebook or Google ads, that this is your excuse to say like, oh, okay, this is okay, I don't have to do this, like this is clearly effed up, their ad product isn't as good now because they can't track you across the internet. That is a convenient excuse for you. But the BS part about it, and just kind of like a more like broader industry kind of look at it, is Google is basically saying, like, this is kind of the same shit that Amazon has done, where they have, kill all your competitors and then take your toys and go home after you kill all your competitors. Amazon, kill all the bookstores, kill all the local bookstores, put them all out of business, and then I'm going to go take my toys and go home, or I'm going to go create my own bookstore and, just like, big middle finger right to your face. Google, this is basically what Google is doing. They're saying like, okay, let's take over the entire advertising industrial complex. Let's kill all these major advertisers. No, I'm not saying like the companies. I'm saying the media companies, the marketing companies, the companies that run the ads, buy the ads, create the ads, sell ads, or even magazines and other media sources, television. Like, we're going to kill all of those, put them out of business. And then now in 2021, we're going to say, hey, we're just like, actually, we're done. We're done with ads. We're kind of getting out of the advertising game, and y'all have it back. And, like handing it back, like after beating the shit out of the media advertising industrial complex and destroying them, then saying like, we're kind of tired of advertising. Here you go. You can have it back, and like handing it back to like this dead carcass of an industry. So, all of that said, it is a little messed up. It makes it a little bit more difficult, or you now have to have a little bit more skill, or have to kind of keep up with the updates on like how exactly to advertise, or what you can and cannot do on these platforms as an advertiser. If you're thinking about running ads as a wedding photographer, I'm just getting a little techie and get a little nerdy for me. But that is kind of the update. So keep up with that if you're again, this is not your excuse to say, I'm not going to do Facebook ads. Facebook ads, Instagram ads are incredibly powerful. They are like, if you have your own domain, if you have it all set up properly, you can it's incredible. Let's move on. TikTok quality. So this week, you might have seen it, that I did and this is a very unofficial experiment. So I did sort of this experiment. I've been doing TikToks mostly with my phone, uploading it straight from my phone to TikTok, not doing any kind of desktop editing or taking it over to Premiere. Playing a little bit with the Captions app, that little purple app with the C on it. That is it's actually a great app to if you want to do kind of the automated captions, because I suck. I'm terrible. I am typo master. And I don't know if it's just a TikTok. Again, this is the hard part about judging quality over quantity. But so I got the 70D out. I lit it like this. Add some real nice soft light, did professional audio, ran it through Premiere, did all these extra steps. And this is what I try to do. This is the fault of me for being a creative, knowing these camera skills, is that I want to get, if I have the tools, then I got to use them. And, me just shooting on my phone, I feel I'm not, I'm not using my full abilities as a cinematographer. And I get all itchy. And I'm like, and then I fall into this trap of how many more steps can I add into the process? And that's what we talked about 2 weeks ago, with creating content consistently, is remove all those barriers, remove access, or remove all, shorten the steps. Don't make it 10 steps. Don't make it, Jordan, okay, you got to write the script, you got to light it, you got to get the 70D out, you got to charge the batteries, you got to plug in your lav, you got to record it, then you got to dump it, put it onto Premiere, edit it, export 10 videos, transfer it back to your phone, edit those captions, and then put it on TikTok. That's a lot of steps just to have some extra quality. And what happened and what resulted from it was not really that much different than if I just put it on my phone. And again, this is an unofficial test. I'm not saying quality is not the way to go, or quantity is, or, your iPhone is, on TikTok, your iPhone is definitively better than recording on a DSLR. But it's kind of, I look at it as just one data point in the wider spread of your marketing strategy. I think you should. I think if you're thinking about it and you have the ability to record a more quality TikTok, then give it a shot, see what happens. But my hunch, and I'll probably confirming my own bias when I'm saying this, but on TikTok, it casual is king, and quality is the odd cousin at the party. That's what it feels like when you're on Instagram. Quality is king, and being casual or being quirky or grainy footage or bad lighting or bad footage or just a crappy iPhone is not so much, it's not so much accepted, or it's not promoted a lot, or if you're trying to get your feed or get your, your grid looking nice, and you just have a bunch of really hodgepodge Instagram selfie videos, which is what my grid looks like. I don't give a shit about my Instagram grid anymore. That's what doesn't look as good. It doesn't fit within the ecosystem, doesn't fit within the environment of the app. When you're on TikTok, casual is the base note. Casual is the baseline. That is the common language on TikTok. That's what it feels like. And the benefit too of just keeping the quality low, keeping it just on your phone, is that again, it shortens those steps. It takes it from shooting it to typing up a couple captions, typing up your hashtags, and posting it. That's it. Instead of doing all these steps, all these studio effects, studio everything, this and that, it becomes less about that. So that was unofficial experiment about TikTok quality. I don't know if I should do more, because I did a whole series on Women Without Pitching. I might do another book series. I think I should. I like book series, but definitely do them on my phone. But But I also noticed too my own behavior this week. Since I batch recorded all of those TikToks onto my DSLR and I got them here on Dropbox and download them onto my phone, that I was less inclined to think about TikToks or make TikToks because I was like, oh, I already got these. I got these in the bag. These are ready to go. I don't need to really worry about this. So think about how like the content or how you create content affects your behavior and affects your output of producing content. Think about that. Be kind of go through a process of your creation process, but also be aware of your creation process. Like have some like meta awareness above like how it is that you're creating or how you think about your content or how you think about what it is that you're doing when you're making your content. Let's move on to the last one. This is kind of an odd topic, random topic, odd topic. What do we call it? How are we calling this? Novelty styles. Yeah, I think I talked about this on a web design episode, but let's talk about having a novel style or having a unique style. I made this little unique style. I'll switch it over to here. Style like that. I was like, that's when I designed my website, and I was like, cool, I'll do that. Like, it's a grid pattern. It looks like I feel like it looks like kind of like a classroom, like I'm an educator. I'm teaching people, but it's also fun, quirky, like nice, soft pastel colors. But I also notice there's a little bit less of reaction among my target audience, which are wedding photographers. My style and the kind of work that I'm putting out does not look like wedding photographers or the style and this is like a personal observation and just kind of seeing the anecdotal reaction between how like even the Perfect Wedding Package had one particular style at the very beginning. It looked like that. It had the grid pattern. It had the splotches, the pastel colors, and to me it looked very, how do I put it, like unisex, like kind of, gender neutral, very educational, fun classroom kind of vibe, like cool college classroom. And what wedding photographers aim at is not that. And that, like, this is going to sound manipulative, but I think all graphic design and web design decisions, and especially when you're thinking about your target audience, should be thinking about your target audience. And it can come off as manipulative. Like, let's create a design that wedding photographers are used to, Jordan. And that was my kind of pull of like, well, I know what is so overdone in the wedding photography industry. I know what every wedding photographer uses. They use the nude colors, the browns, the orange, the reds, they use these like thin white pencil drawings of leaves and moons and suns, and very like almost like those kind of like a pencil drawing of like a Greek goddess coming out of a clamshell kind of vibe. Boho a little bit. We'll call it boho. Like my wife loves boho. My entire house is boho. And like I saw that style and having visited thousands of wedding photographers' Instagram profiles, seeing it so much and me being aware of design and like I like styles, I like typography, I love web design, but just like getting tired of it and be like, okay, let me be different, Jordan. Let me be unique or divergent or give them something that's refreshing, that doesn't feel I'm the wedding photographer's coach for non-wedding photographer, or like I'm the non-wedding photographer for wedding. Like if you were so sick of being in that world, I'm here to I'm your cool glass of water. Here's my design. And I feel like what I did in trying to be divergent and be contrarian, that you end up turning off your customers a little bit because it feels like they're walking into a space that they, one, are not familiar with because I'm not a known name in the wedding photography world yet, and two, like when you're trying to build trust with a stranger, you want to raise as few red flags as possible. And if you blend in, like that's what they tell you not to do. Like, don't blend in with your marketing. But when it comes to your web design and the product that you put out, especially if you're new into the game, it feels like I don't know if it's true or not, but it feels like you should kind of blend in a little bit or provide a familiar experience inside a familiar environment. So if I'm the vendor, if I'm the expert for wedding photographers, I need to look like I know what wedding photographers like and do, and I'm hip to it. And that felt like I was trying to be so contrarian that it ended up looking like I don't know what I'm talking about, or I can't relate at all to wedding photographers because I'm not hip to that, or I'm not showing off that I can build those Squarespace sites. I know what photos I need to take. I know what color palette I need to work with, and I've even updated the Perfect Wedding Package to look like that. We don't have to bring it up tonight, but go to the Perfect Wedding Package, and it looks completely different from that style that you just saw right there. Looks completely different. But I've also gotten better reaction. It took me forever to talk to users, talk to customers, and say, "Hey, can I get a reaction from this? What do you think about the web design? What do you think about the layout?" And never really got a reaction. And my kind of worst fear was confirmed that a non-reaction is a bad reaction. Non-reaction, or like a pleasant reaction, like, "Oh, it's nice, it's fine," is just a wish-wash, like watered down reaction saying it's not really that good, or I can't really put my finger on this, but this is not resonating with me, or another way to put it, like, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. So my style is nice. Okay, yeah. The gender neutral, hip college educator kind of look, all right, that's cool, but it's not a hell yes for me. It's nice. So switching over to those browns and the tans and the nude colors and the doing ads that look like wedding photographers, what they would make on Canva, or what they would make on, just that kind of style. We all know that kind of style that I'm talking about, with the res, the orange, the summer pack, the monstera leaf, the sun, the moon pencil drawing, the girl pencil drawing, the white ink, the white cursive, white thin cursive. We all know what I'm talking about. And getting a better reaction to that. So making that kind of design, making it like, oh wow, this is like, I resonate with this. This is, as a wedding photographer, I love the styles. Now I feel like I'm in a more comfortable environment. This feels interesting. This feels, I don't want to say this feels feminine, but let's not BS. Like, so a lot of wedding photographers are female. So to try to attract them with some kind of gender neutral thing, or attract them with some maybe even the style I have is a little bit more masculine. So maybe let's soften it up a little bit, Jordan, and make it as kind of add sort of a, quote, woman's touch to it. That makes it feel a little bit more feminine. And there are certain fonts that you can use that make it that kind of that vibe, color palettes that you use. So to kind of conclude on that, there is being novel and there is being divergent and contrarian, and I think that has its place. I think you should do that, but I think when you're trying to attract customers and you're trying to create an environment where you are trying to build trust so much, I'm sending cold traffic to this website, trying to basically convince people to buy this wedding course. And if they don't know, if it looks weird, they don't know me, so red flag there. They've never heard of this, red flag. Every customer is weird. So then so I have to make them feel safe. I have to make them feel like this is a familiar environment, and then I have to speak their language and also write the copy and talk to them about the problem that they're feeling. And if I can do that, then those other objections about, I don't know you, I've never heard of this, they are more forgiving in that sense if they go in being okay, this person understands me, and also, look, they understand my style. So, yeah, there are so many factors. And this could go back to the TikTok topic we were just talking about, that you think you know what the problem is, but you're just making a guess, or it's just a hypothesis that you think do I think that quality can survive or can work well on TikTok? Absolutely. Is my little tiny micro experiment a valid enough experiment to give me the data to say I need to fully commit to just shooting on my cell phone? Absolutely not. So it's all just kind of like vibe, feel, and that's why it's so important to like constantly talk with your users, constantly talk with your audience, your customers. What did you like? What did you not like? What made sense? What did you not like? What did not like? Tell me about your problems. Tell me what problems you're trying to solve. How have you gone and tried to solve those problems in the past? Things like that. So let's kind of end it right there. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to end this stream here in yeah. So thanks. I'll see you guys on Monday. And yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. My name is Jordan P. Anderson, and I'll end with this. Head over to theperfectweddingpackage.com if you're a wedding photographer looking to get better at pricing and therefore raise your rates and make more money this year. I'll show you all exactly how to do that in theperfectweddingpackage.com. Make sure you put the THE in front of it, theperfectweddingpackage.com. Check out the site. There's a free 7-day trial for you to enjoy. Cancel anytime. And let's end the stream. Thanks for watching.